let's get into talking about some of the other rosters. I was a little nervous because I heard you were hanging out with Seth in Hawaii. I don't know if that was true or
No,
not.
I wasn't. We were there at the same time. But no, yeah, I wasn't. I was optic attached for like 24 hours, according to
Yeah,
social media. Everyone's
according to
social
social
media
media.
had me as optic attached for 24 hours. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious. No, it was kind of funny watching that all go down. You had the infamous hot tub pick. You were vibing. Everything's kind of going down while you're on vacation. With the confirmed rosters that we have, there seemed to be like a really weird bit with Optic that I don't think I've ever seen. Obviously, while I was with the team for 9 years, I don't remember
Mhm.
anything like this happening, but it seemed like they gave farewell posts to Dashi and to Illy, I believe. I hope I'm not getting them mixed up. I get the names mixed up. No,
No,
they were
you
gonna
got
keep
it.
Shotzi and Seth.
Yeah.
And that, like, I'll tell you what, Optic does not do that unless they're gone. They don't
Yeah.
troll. They don't, like, it's no troll. They weren't
Yeah.
farming impressions. So like, but then the next day, or was it the next day and a half? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Next day and a half,
They
something.
next day, like less than 48 hours later, they say back. They're like, psych, we're running it back.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of like a not a typical. I mean, I guess if they're sticking, there's not really a big hubbub to make about it. But I figure that they usually like to do announcements really kind of secretive and really dope content to make
Hmm.
announcements. But this was a cool photo. I love the edit on it. But I was there must have been a crazy 24 hours there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was really nervous for 24 hours. And I think, hearing about this, it kind of proves to me, like, I think a lot of people thought they were just farming impressions because everything about, those tweets got just so much. But what do you make of them, potentially deciding to move off of, Ilya and Dashi, and then ultimately something fell through and they're like, psych, we'll run it back. Do you think that could affect Optic negatively? And what do you make of them sticking? Do you think that's a good move?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I was like, okay, like Dashy's on the market now, Illy's on the market now. Like
That
things
changes
are,
a lot.
yeah, things are about to get crazy in Rostermania. So I'm still talking to players and teams, and then the next day I just see they tweet that they're back on the team. So I was like, wait, like did they just troll everyone or not? But like that's not something you really troll about because that'd just be like a
Nah,
really
it
weird
would
thing to
Yeah.
not.
say. This is a unrestricted or this is a restricted free agent right here. Like you guys can buy him or he can join another team. Like that's just not something you would troll about, and that could definitely hurt the chemistry of a team if it's like that. But from the outside looking in, I think it's more so was just like they wanted to make a change and then something happened and they're like, okay, but actually, never mind, we probably shouldn't. And then they just brought it back and didn't make a change. So it's hard to say if it's going to affect them negatively or positively. It could go either way. Like if they do bad off the start or things aren't clicking, they're not having a good chem outside a game or even during practice, it could hurt them. But also, you could look at the other way where it could light their fire. Like, oh, these guys, I was kind of on the chopping block or whatever. These guys wanted me gone. So it's going to light someone's fire that much more to like improve as a player, as a team, and everything. So it could go both ways, but it definitely is going to be crazy to see how it plays out. Like if they do good off the start, they're going to need to. If they do bad, then I think it's going to really take a toll on them because they already know like, oh, we were kind of gone for 24 hours and then we got off to a bad start, a rocky start. So where do we go from here? Hey guys, it's Attached to the Minnesota ROKKR, and with the MW2 beta here, we decided to give away some beta codes so we can see you playing against us. Good luck to everyone. Click the link for your chance to win.
That what you just said is the part that stands out for me is the bit of doubt that comes in if they perform poorly to start the season. Like we had a different team for 24 hours, but we decided to run it back and dang, we made a mistake. Like I don't know how you don't have those thoughts. It's got to be
Yeah.
tough when and I know you've been through a million roster manias. You've seen rosters that of rosters that never existed that none of us will ever know were gonna
Yeah.
exist. And so it's like I hope some of you guys write books one day and just talk about what it was like to be a CDL pro. And
Dude, I would read the hell
yeah,
out of a Dilly
dude,
Attached price book.
yeah, for sure.
I'll
It
listen
wouldn't
to
be,
the
it wouldn't be
audiobook
it
probably,
wouldn't be
but
too interesting. It wouldn't be too interesting. Don't
what?
worry.
It
No
would though. You're a
shot.
professional gamer, bro. Like there, like honestly, like. But when I think about that team, I'll just say because I've shared my opinion publicly. I think keeping Illy was interesting. That's all I'll say. I won't say it was bad. I just think it was interesting. Keeping Dashy, again, I understand that he has his own challenges as a teammate. Those are all when that stuff surfaces a little bit, you know that behind the scenes, it's actually a bigger problem even than you hear about. And so it's like
Yeah.
whatever his challenges are behind the scenes, that's a legit challenge. That's a legit problem that they had with Dashy. And it sounds like as you put all the pieces together, like they actually were going to drop him. Seth got back in town, immediately got on the phone with both of them. They talked it out. They figured it out. But then it's coming out that Formal was trying to tell them to keep Dashy because Formal and Dashy used to always get along. And they still get along and vibe together. The Illy piece is interesting to me only because he has like a legitimate ailment, and this isn't a rub towards Illy. Illy is a beast. Like watching this dude play in IGL on one of the greatest franchises in the history of Call of Duty was amazing, but he has a legitimate ailment that I don't know if he's in the mind state to accurately say when he's good or bad, because he's a good player and wants to keep playing. And so
Mm.
you're putting him in a position to basically lie to the team if he is having pain and be like, yeah, I can play. Or they need a legitimate, really good sub that is going to actually be able to help them perform at the same level when Illy's not available, which is really hard to replace, which is why I thought replacing Illy was a good idea. And it's the same reason I know we're going to talk about FaZe. I have my thoughts on that one too, but it's like I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens to OpTic to start the season. They did tweet this before they technically could tweet it. Like you couldn't really announce your roster when this was tweeted. And so, I mean, is it official? Sure, because as long as it's official with the league and they've submitted the roster, then it's official, and it's legit. But I do know that they still have to be looking for solutions. Rambo probably wasn't vibing with bringing Dashy back, but they're bringing Dashy back. So there's going to be a little bit of drama internally that if anybody can overcome it, yes, OpTic can. And, that's what we'd all love to see. We don't want to see a disgruntled, frustrated OpTic for a year. Nobody like World War II, nobody wants to see that again. And so I hope they figure it out. Like, to be blatantly honest, I think running it back is something I didn't expect this team to do. I expected at least one person to switch out. Dashy and Illy getting announced like they were was a big shock to me. And I'm sure Dylan actually does know behind the scenes what was happening in terms of the roster part. Because when OpTic is available, and Octane said this in a video, when OpTic has an available spot or somebody from OpTic gets dropped, all other negotiations go out the window.
Oh
It's
yeah, of
like,
course.
how do I get on OpTic, or how do I play with Dashy? How do I play with Illy? Like, how do I play with Scump? That's all that happens. Everything else is out the window. And so I'm glad they're giving it a try. I hope it works out, to be blatantly honest. And it's an interesting play.